Hey, welcome to PopCast, a crowd-sponsored yo-yo show. My name is Dr. Popular. Each week we like to talk about a yo-yo trick or concept, and I think this episode's concept is going to be this fun rejection called an organ reject. It's something really cool. But before we get into that, I want to talk to some guy with a yo-yo, specifically Guy with a Yo-Yo, a YouTube vlogger and yo-yo reviewer and creator of a new yo-yo that we're going to talk about. How are you doing today?
I am doing absolutely spectacular. The sun is shining. It's really cold here, but it's usually cold in Michigan. So to get sun is a huge thing. And yeah, I'm feeling good. Thanks for having me.
Hey, yeah, it's no problem, man. I've been really enjoying your videos. You're putting a lot of us to shame. You've got these really great product shots and like research, and there's a lot going on in your videos, and I feel like you just kind of started making videos again after maybe a long break in the yo-yo community. Does that sound right?
Yeah, so I started in around 2004, 2005. I kind of stumbled into yo-yos. I went to Target to buy some Magic the Gathering cards. They didn't have any Magic the Gathering cards, but they had a Yomega Hyper Warp Heavy Ring. So I picked that up. I played with it forever, busted up my hands. Eventually, I needed string. So I couldn't find any string in person. So I turned to the internet, found out there's like this humongous yo-yo community. Ended up just chatting with a bunch of great people. I ended up having the opportunity to work with a now closed down company called Buzz On Industries. So when working with them, I got the opportunity to, for one, get a lot of yo-yos, but then also to go to a couple different competitions, meet a ton of people. I kind of dropped out of the community around 2010 or so, but as with many people, I got back in 2020, and it has been just as great as I remembered it.
Wow, that's rad. And so you've been kicking ass with the videos that you're making. But the reason we wanted to have you on the show today is to talk about the Saboteur, which is your brand new yo-yo. Was this you were reviewing yo-yos and you were like, this sucks, this sucks, this sucks. You know what? Fine, I'll just do it myself. Is that what happened?
No, not quite. So I would say for one, one of the cool things about seeing yo-yo's technology now from back in 2004, 2005 is it's almost impossible to make a bad yo-yo. Mm-hmm. So there's a ton of yo-yos. There's a lot of yo-yos that maybe aren't super unique. So kind of maybe very similar to other yo-yos, but it's a circle. So it's only so much you can do with that. But the idea behind the Saboteur came out was not so much this yo-yo sucks, but this is something that I would like to see all together.
Well, this is a classic kind of design in many ways. You've got that organic shape. I'm gonna hold it up to one of my favorite kind of classics here, the Markmont classic, the Magnum Opus. And you see, like you said, it's kind of hard to mess up yo-yos. You've got kind of like, we're starting to see kind of high walls come back and like, organic yo-yo, but then you have a lot of really unique things on here. You've got the spikes, the Matador spikes. You've got these great ripples in the design. Tell us about those. Tell us about that kind of curvy shape that's going on the inside there.
So obviously with the pandemic, one of the things that I miss the most about contests and gatherings is, besides like the fellowship and just kind of getting to know those people, is the fact that you get to try before you buy, right? You go to a gathering, a club meetup, everybody kind of brings their favorite yo-yos, get to try it out and see if you want it. Now, since a lot of that is over with, I really kind of pondered on what it is that draws me into a yo-yo, and what draws me into a yo-yo is usually the cup. The cup and the profile are like the top two things. So it was really important to have a cup that's both functional as far as like how it contributes to the weight distribution, but also that just, to me at least, looks really cool.
This really stands out. Like it's one of the first things that I notice, and I think many people notice. And then the Matador spike kind of in there, which I'm sure I'm not capturing on this call, but it's a really kind of cool thing. You've got this. It almost reminds me of a drop of water going in, and you've got kind of like that tail of the water, which kind of creates like a little point, and you've got like where it's starting to create that impact, and maybe a splash out there. It just kind of has that moment of like stop motion kind of, or stop time kind of effect.
Yo-yos are very much to me functional art. So, they're super fun to have, but it's also nice to have something cool. You just either have it for yourself, just for your own collection. Maybe like I have a case. Of course I have cases, but I also have like a display in the wall, like on the wall in my living room, that kind of thing. So having that functional art piece to it, it really makes it important for me to kind of represent that.
And then just getting on the insides here, you've got real high walls, which I like. This thing is great for regenerations, good for stalls, for string stalls, a lot of those sort of things that I like to use high walls for. And then you make up for those high walls with these beautiful schmoove grooves. And I have to say, I will never not take the opportunity to point out that I'm the creator of the schmoove groove. And anytime anybody has a schmoove groove, it's just like an instant like. It's never going to be like, hey, you stole my thing. It's more like, yes, good. You get a like, you get a follow, you get like. Anytime I see a schmoove groove, I'm just like, yep, I'm in. And one of the things I kind of noticed, and I was kind of curious about the outer shape of this. Does this mimic the kind of like you've got the schmoove groove indentation on one side? Is that where this little kind of ridge comes, or is that unrelated?
It is. So that's the one of the ridges. So it's really hard to tell. So it is. It's like kind of like this part here of the ridge is not doing a great job of it. So that part is, but the others are just for for aesthetics, because it looks cool.
What's the price point and the release?
Yeah, so the price point of this is $60 for solid colors, $65 for fades, and the release will actually be Friday the 2nd, and it'll be on SaboteurYoyo.com and also Yo-Yo Expert as well. It'll be a dual release. Comparing it though to another yo-yo I really like a lot is, of course, that's the Doc Pop Icarus. The width is like pretty similar or really close. The shapes differ as far as the profiles go, but I really had a lot of fun with the Icarus when I got it. I was surprised. I got years ago, probably 2005, 2006. I got a signed Bolt from you, and I got a sign for one of my friends, and I never ended up giving it to him. I kept that yo-yo with me probably for 6 years through 2 different moves. I literally have no idea where it is now, and I have no idea why I never gave it to Mike. But it was always cool. So when I kind of got back in, and I was like, Doc Pop is still around. I'm like, that's awesome. And I'm like, okay, I gotta check this out.
Right on. Well, yeah. Cool. I'm going to get into a trick section here. Have you seen the video of the organ reject yet?
I have not.
Are you in the mood to try learning a new trick?
I don't have my space. I got.
Yeah, me too. I'm pretty spot. So I'm just going to do. So for this episode, we're going to do a trick move called an organ reject, which is a string reject. I posted this on Instagram. People really seem to like it. So here's a tutorial for it. That's the basic move. You can kind of see what's happening there is we're starting on a trapeze, nothing fancy. I'm going forward. There's a bit of string that gets kicked out, and then I land on a double or nothing. Once you get it, you can do trapeze to a double or nothing, a double or nothing to a triple or nothing, a triple or nothing to a quadruple or nothing. Like I said, this starts off with a trapeze. Then I bring my hands together and I swing the yo-yo forward, which is going to kick a bit of string around. So that string was on the trapeze, it kicks around. I hold my pointer finger out and I just catch it. And that's all while the yo-yo is kind of falling, right? So the yo-yo is swinging, and the end result is to try to get the yo-yo to land on a double or nothing. So again, it's swing, there's going to be a kick of string, and then I catch on the double or nothing. And I got into a contest with one of my Patreon sponsors, Tony, to see who could do a single to a double to a triple first. Spoiler alert, Tony won. I wasn't able to work all the way up there. But one of the things I saw that he did that was pretty interesting was in the setup, he put his hands really close together. If you want to, you could be like Tony, who is the first person I know to have done the organ reject all the way up to a triple or nothing. And again, every time Tony did it, he just put his hands together, and that made that easier. Again, when he went from a double or nothing, he would do that same setup each time, and bam, now we're in the triple. Quadruple is the one that we raced to. He was the first one to do a quadruple. Let's see if I can do it. Hands together. Still can't do a quadruple. I think if you can kind of get it to the point where you're just kind of like just swinging and throwing, I think it looks really good. You know, less of the setup and just kind of like a swing out. But when you're first learning this trick, definitely try keeping your hands close together to get the hang of it. One other tip actually comes from Mark Allen. Mark found a very similar trick to this, I think like 8 years ago. Nearly identical. The only difference is Mark sets up here. So he sets up trapeze here and then does that. So if you are really wanting to kind of learn this trick and you're struggling with it, you can try keeping your hands together, or just go on and keep your finger in there. And then all you really are doing is just practicing that. You're not even catching the loop. You're just practicing that catch here. So I guess if you're going to a triple or nothing, you once again put your finger in and try that. Yep. One other note that I wanted to pass on was you want to use a high wall yo-yo because you really want to get that friction to happen to kick the string out. I also tend to throw my yo-yo slightly leaning back. So I tend to, this side is going to be leaning just a little bit towards me. I just kind of find that helps me. I don't know. Like I feel like that gets more friction on the bottom of the yo-yo. So when I'm doing that swing, it's just going to give me a better spin. So play around with different yo-yos, play around with different string, and even different angles, different finger positions. All those things can help you get to the point where you are landing this easily, which, I'm still working on it. Well, that was the organ reject. I hope you like it. I want to say huge thanks to Guy with the Yo-Yo for joining me on this call and for showing me this amazing yo-yo, the Saboteur, coming out April 2nd for $60 to $65, depending on if you want to get faded or not. And wanted to give a huge shout out to my Patreon sponsors over on patreon.com/DocPop. That's Andrew Cassidy, Taka Hasagawa, and all the rest of the Patreon sponsors. I've just reached a new, I have like a new record. I've got more Patreon backers than I think I've ever had before. It's like 63 or something. Yeah, yay!
Nice.
And so, yeah, and there's most of these videos are just available for anyone to watch and just kind of enjoy. There's a few special videos that go out on the Patreon, but mostly they get to do things like contests. And right now there's a Name This Trick contest, and the winner gets a prototype legendary terrarium. This prototype, proto number 2 of this bad boy. I don't even know how old this is. They sent this to me for like a giveaway, and I never threw it. And then I filmed this trick with it, and I was like, oh, I want to keep it now. But like, I don't do that. I don't like, if you give me a yo-yo for a giveaway, I'm going to give it away. It might take a couple years. Yeah. Yeah. So anyway, if you're interested in checking out that Name This Trick contest and maybe getting a chance to win a legendary terrarium, prototype number 2, go to patreon.com/DocPop and just sponsor at any level, and then just create a name for the trick that rocks. And if I like your name, the trick will get named after it, and you also get this prototype. So thanks again, Guy with the Yo-Yo, for hanging out. Be sure to smash that screen and like the keyboard. with the space bars, and we'll see you next episode.
Bye. Thanks, Doc. Doc Pop is still around.